Art is life, and making art has proven to be a therapeutic exercise to navigate through grief, anxiety, and even healing. Our guest artist Limay Basto doesn't shy away from acknowledging that at a young age, she suffered from anxiety. And in the midst of a difficult time in her life, she found art, or should we say, art found her. 4 years later, and she continues to inspire people through motivational Bible verses, quotes, and affirmations beautifully written in calligraphy. In this episode, Lee Mai talks about pursuing your passion by trying out different mediums, how workshops helped her to gain the confidence to do art, consistency and muscle memory as critical elements of your art journey, and the three E's that unlocks your creative path. If you want to be part of the conversation, then send in your questions and topics you want us to cover to hello@etcherlab.com. Hey, this is Jessie from Etcher. We believe in your power to create, so we invited artists from all around the globe to inspire you to keep on creating. Join us in this journey and let's celebrate creativity. This is Make More Art, the podcast. Liam, I thank you so much for joining Make More Art, the podcast. I'm really excited to meet such a very young artist. And I've been looking at your feed prior to this interview, and I'm just blown away by your florals and all those quotations and Bible verses that you've been writing beautifully using calligraphy. But before we dive into that, can you share with us how you started? I think you started back in 2018, but can you expound a little bit more on how you started and what medium you started with?
Hello everyone, my name is Limay Basto. I'm an artist based in the Philippines and I love doing calligraphy, gouache florals, but I do love making floral watercolor painting, most especially loose watercolor floral composition. So let me take you to how my art journey started. I was 19 years old and I'm in the middle of fighting stress and anxiety when I found art, and that was year 2018. So I don't have any background on art since I was a kid because all I did was to sing. That's my favorite part aside from making such different things. So unexpectedly happened one day. I was walking along National Bookstore. I was just about to buy a Bible, but unfortunately, it was out of stock. So I decided to leave the place by then until something caught my eyes. I saw a canvas board. The design was an abstract acrylic. So without realizing, I was already holding few pieces of paint brushes, and I was already holding the canvas board and heading the counter to pay for the things that I was already holding. So I was really I do not have any idea what was I was doing already. So same routine happens every time I visit National Bookstore or any art store, or when I see a store that sells art products. Even though I kept buying art materials without any idea on how am I going to use it since I do not have background on art. So, but good thing since I was staying alone inside my room, I was just staying there for a whole day. I don't want to go outside. It started as an hobby. So I was thankful that God made art as an instrument for me to deal with my anxiety and stress. So it was a stress reliever after all. So I started exploring acrylic and oil paint at the same time, but I was only using a vellum board that time. I didn't know how can I apply it on the canvas board or what was the right material to use. So I keep mixing colors on my palette. Yeah, that was all the things that I keep doing since I do not have any idea or a goal on how can I start making an art piece. So as I was starting exploring acrylic and oil paint, I was learning watercolor and calligraphy at the same time. So I got interested to watercolor and calligraphy ever since I saw a shared post from one of my former classmates in high school. So it was like I was hypnotized by something, and then I was thinking, why not should I give it a try?
Mm-hmm.
So since then, I started practicing. Even though I do not know, there are basic practices, but I do not have any idea of that. So the first year of my art journey was through exploring and practicing. Um, and then um, on the second year, maybe that was year 2019, I started making DIYs such as personalized keychains, hand painted wallets and bags,
Mm-hmm.
florals and calligraphy on a frame, and started selling them as well. So it
Wow.
was it was a source of income for me at that moment, and that was year 2019 as well. I decided to make an Instagram account so I can post them through that art page.
Okay. Thank you so much, Liamite. Your name is very interesting. Can you share a little before I dive into what you just shared about your art journey? Let's talk about your name because it's very unique. It's Liamai. Was it a combination of your parents' names or
Yeah.
does it have like a
Yes.
so it is a combination of your
Yes.
name. Oh
Actually.
wow. Okay. Liamai. All right. That's very unique.
Yes.
That's, I think you're the only
Thank
person
you.
that I know who has a name, Liamai. Okay, so you mentioned that you started back in 2018 and you were still in school back then. Is that right? Or you already graduated?
Actually, no. Actually, the reason why I had stress and anxiety because I stopped studying college. I
Okay.
was second year college that time, so it was really hard on my part since seeing my batchmates getting graduate. So I couldn't take those things. So I pity myself. That's why um, I just wanted to stay inside my room. I don't want to go outside. I don't want to see any of them wearing uniforms. It was like I just got I became bitter about seeing them since I should be one of them. I was
Mm,
thinking I should be studying as well, but for some reasons I did not continue studying, and um, since then I started finding a job as well, but um, I couldn't find a good job that would fit in me because of my medical issues. I do not know what to do. What else am I gonna do since I do not go to school already? I don't have a job that could help me so that if I could earn some money, I could continue and pursue school. But at the same time, I did not.
mm,
Maybe the reason why is because I don't know actually, but I was thankful that God made a way. I know this art um, was a gift because I was earning a lot from it, especially since I started making commissions or expecting commissions from my clients
mhm.
and teaching online workshops. So it
Right.
helped me a lot
Mhm.
by that way.
Thank you for sharing that the story with us, Liam. I know a lot of young women out there at your age, right? Similar to your age, probably is going through similar anxieties and I know a lot of people are having or facing mental health issues with everything that's happening in the world. And all of us have gone through bouts of anxieties, depression, and it's difficult. But like what you said, I love how you saw an opportunity for you to look at that situation differently and the what's also inspiring from your story is that you went to a bookstore. A national bookstore is the national bookstore in the Philippines. If you guys, Talia Mai is based in the Philippines, and you said that you were there to buy a Bible, but it
Yes.
they're sold out. It's out of stock. They don't have any stocks uh, for Bibles, and so you ended up buying canvases and brushes. And I think that maybe you didn't find a Bible there, but God has given you more to lead you to a different path. Would you say that that was a sort of a turning point in your life because that really opened up something that now you are sharing with a lot of people from different parts of the world?
Yes, I totally agree with that. And yeah, I was really grateful for this kind of opportunity in my life. And I was, it was like, it brings me healing from what I have experienced from my past. Especially, I got depressed. I have um, experienced anxiety and stress. So yeah, it was really a gift from me, and I thank God for that.
Mhm. You mentioned, thank you, Lima. You did mention as well about oil. And was it pastel? Oil and pastel is
Um,
it? Or acrylic,
Actually, an
rather.
oil paint. Yes, an acrylic and oil
Okay.
paint.
Okay, let's talk
Yes,
about that a little bit. So you started with oil and acrylic. And surprisingly, right
yes.
now, when I look at your feeds, I cannot see any trace of acrylic. Probably if I go all the way back, but your recent works, most of your works, and even the class that you taught with Etcher, it's all watercolor. So take me through. So when you started, it was oil and acrylic, and then how did you transition to
Acrylic.
watercolor? Yeah, how did you transition to the medium that you're using right now?
Actually, I started exploring acrylic and oil paint.
Hmm.
The first art piece that I made was a seascape and um a galaxy background, I guess. If
Okay.
yeah, I could remember that. Um, I sell them as well on Facebook. I posted them online, and gladly there were some clients who bought them from me.
Hmm.
But since I got that interest, I have it was something that the passion developed in me that um pushed me to choose calligraphy and watercolor. So I set aside the two mediums.
Okay.
I have to focus. I said that I have to focus watercolor and calligraphy. So, but I'm still painting, or I'm still using the mediums like an acrylic right now. I'm still
Hmm.
painting some of them, but I do
Hmm.
not post them on my Instagram account since I have the watercolor and the calligraphy already there.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, with calligraphy, what's also interesting, when I saw one of your answers to the Q&A highlights on your Instagram, is that, on your Instagram, was that you said that was it you didn't watch a lot of tutorials? Oh, sorry, you did attend a workshop. You did attend a workshop, but for the watercolor part, it was self-taught. The
Yeah.
calligraphy, am I right? Did you attend a workshop for it, or did you also do it
Um,
on your own?
Actually,
You
I
decided on your own.
attended a workshop once
Mm-hmm.
from one of the Pandayan bookshop workshops.
Okay.
That was April 2019. I can
Oh,
remember.
okay.
Yes. But
Okay.
I did not watch any tutorial on YouTube. I just did was keep on writing and writing. All I have to remember was the basic stroke, which is the upstroke and the downstroke. That was my real focus in making calligraphy. I
Yeah.
didn't know that there are a lot of basic techniques that you have to follow if you want to learn a brush calligraphy.
Right, right. And you
Yes.
do a lot of brush calligraphy and lettering as well. When it comes to calligraphy, I know a lot of artist friends as well who started with calligraphy and then eventually now they are doing a lot of watercolor, like florals. And with you, it's a lot of florals. You do a lot of florals, but you still do calligraphy. And most of the calligraphy works that you did that you're posting on your socials are really inspirational messages and Bible verses. Can you share a little bit more about that decision and thought process of you or writing quotes, positive quotes or motivating or inspirational quotes and Bible verses and sharing them along with your captions?
So when I started learning calligraphy, my goal was to use Bible verses, not just to thank God and glorify Him, but I wanted to use His words to inspire and uplift someone who really needs it, especially those people who needs an inspirational and advice, just like me. So I wanted to spread that throughout my artworks.
Thank you, Leah Mai. I know you said as when we started the interview that you were going through anxiety and depression when you found art, or at least when art found you, and it has been a huge help for you to process through or to go through your anxiety. And now hearing you talk about how you are making use of art to inspire and to help those people or also going through anxiety through your inspirational messages written beautifully in calligraphy and Bible verses to inspire and not only inspire but also glorify God. How are you right now with you still doing art? Earning from art, how are you mentally and emotionally in the past how many years that you have been doing art?
Um, to be honest, I know actually in myself that I'm still in the process of healing. I've been through a lot of trials and challenges in life, but I was thankful that God is always there guiding me through all the way, and most especially, He has given me a thing that it's priceless. The art that I'm doing right now. It's really a big help for me. It was like whenever I do painting or I make art pieces, I was alive again. So
Mm.
it gives me aside from that energy, but a different kind of happiness that it cannot be replaced by anything, or it cannot be priced by something that is much cost. So I am thankful for that.
I'm really glad to hear it. I think the healing part, it definitely takes time, but hearing you talk about how priceless art is for you and how you're using it to heal, to go through this process of healing, I think this is a really inspiring. And for a lot of women your age, especially the millennials out there, right? You're doing something that probably some people might consider it's unexpected or unnatural and uncommon for women your age to be focusing on art these days, right? What is your message to your generation? Let's say to the millennials out there who are listening to the podcast who probably are into creativity or into arts, but then of course with technology, with everything, with a lot of things that are that can cause distractions and a lot of things that can take away our attention to the things that we're passionate about. What is your message, or what would you say to them so that they can too be inspired to do art or explore and make art?
Um, Problems will never leave our lives. There is always challenges and trials that will come into our way, and so is God. He will never leave us. All we have to do is to believe and pray. It's always the key.
Mhm.
Don't forget to pray, trust God, and most especially if there are a lot of things that might ruin or distract you from doing some certain things or um, doing what you love, all you have to do is to stay focused on that. You have set a goal on that thing, and no matter what you're going through, always remember He's always there to guide you.
Beautifully said, and truly inspiring as well. I mean, for someone who has gone through so much, I may not know the exact details of what you've gone through, Liamai, but hearing you talk about how you navigated through those trials and hurdles in life at a very young age, but then found a companion through art to help you guide through those difficult moments of your life and use that platform as well to share your experience and share the beauty of art through your calligraphy, through the words that you have written, and also the paintings that you did. So thank you for doing that and for sharing and for being vulnerable and sharing that vulnerability with the world. I know it's not easy to say that yes, I am struggling and I'm going through anxiety and depression, but sometimes we need to share a bit of something, share a story that other people will also that will resonate with other people, because that way it might be small if from our perspective, but it can also help in their healing if they feel, if they see and know that someone out there is also going through the same thing. And especially when you couple that with art, that is indeed powerful. Now, speaking of art, I know that you had a class with us back back in June 5th to be exact. What was the live workshop as well? I mean, can you talk about what the live workshop was all about? Because that is still up on the Etcher Studio website or channel on YouTube. Can you share a little bit more about that? And let's talk about your mini workshop, which is happening on the 17th. So if you're listening to the podcast, this is airing on the 18th. This is the 18th, and so it happened yesterday. So if you want to check out her mini workshop, that is going to be up on the Etcher Studio website. So, Liam, can you talk about what the live demo was all about, and then what they can expect from your mini workshop?
Before we talk about the mini workshop, if you have watched the 30-minute class last June 5, it was still like you can still watch it on Etcher's YouTube channel. You can the title is Painting Supporting Floral Elements with Liam Maybasto. You can check that out on YouTube. And for the 90-minute class, we are going to learn on how to create a well-balanced composition or creating a well-balanced floral bouquet in a monochromatic theme. So that will be on Sunday, June 17, 10 a.m. on Eastern Daylight Time. Okay, you can sign up to my class and we can learn together and create art.
That's very good, and thank you. Sorry, so did you say monochromatic? So the
Yes.
live demo was all about the elements, and then now you will be teaching a floral composition monochromatic. This is
Yes.
interesting because for most people you do pick up a lot of colors, right? Especially when you're talking about florals. With you, why did you decide to do monochromatic? What is it about
Um,
monochrome that's so appealing for you, and how do you make it more interesting, because it's just one color, right? So what is the key to make it interesting and appealing to someone who's looking at the painting?
okay. In monochromatic, you're gonna use a single base of color. Just like what I did, I use blue. If you can see some of my paintings on Instagram, I always use blue. Aside from it, it's my favorite color. So
Okay.
when we talk about monochromatic, it is usually an easy way, especially for beginners. They don't have to choose or pick different colors. They just have
Mhm.
to focus on one shade or base of color since it's a monochromatic. So monochromatic means one. So mono means one. And what makes it appealing. The painting makes it appealing because of its shade. It creates different hue and tone, even though it was only a single base of color, but it gives attractiveness, or it attracts or radiates an eye person because of its um, different hues, I guess, or the shades that it provides.
I think that what's interesting as well with monochromatic is that because you're using just one color, the I guess the challenge of making it some of the parts pop and then some of the parts with lighter shade of it. So I guess what they will be learning from the workshop is how do you do that? What is the key to make those composition pop, and then for the other elements to build the scene, like what you said, you're going to teach how to create a scene using monochromatic, like floral composition, using the elements that you taught on your live demo. So definitely a class that's worth watching, and I'm sure you guys, if you're starting out, I think this is the class that you need, because like what you said, right, Liamai, for this is really beginner friendly, because you're just using one base color, and I've always wanted to try that because I love mixing different colors in the same family. So it's like the use of pink and then peach and then orange and red. So all of within that, same family of colors. But I haven't really tried doing monochrome. So maybe that's something that I would try soon. Liam, any pieces of advice? Because I know we talked about when we started the interview, we talked about, you going through anxiety and finding art that really help you in your journey to healing. And, you are still in the process of healing, but what's constant in your life is art. So any pieces of advice, especially to our younger generation, women and men your age who probably might be going through the same thing and would want to try and find a way to go through the journey of healing as well, or anything that will help and aid in their process of healing. And for anyone who also want to start out with art, but maybe thinking, I'm not good enough, what would be your pieces of advice? Yeah, or golden nuggets?
Okay, if you're starting out with art, just continue. If you are passionate about art, you also have to make an effort through it. There is no rule in creativity. Dip your brush, do what the heart tells, and the magic will follow. And also, I want you to remember these three E's. The first E is to experiment. Create without worrying about what will be the outcome. Don't always strive for perfection. Um, Second is to explore, learn, make mistakes. It's all a part of the process. And lastly, enjoy. If you love what you do, you will gain happiness. Not just making any progress, but if you really put love or inspiration or care into what you're doing, you will truly gain happiness on that part. That's it.
Thank you so much. I love the three E's. So it's experiment, explore, and enjoy. I think those three that's a perfect combo, I would say. And not just making art, but in anything that we do, right? Because if you experiment, that means that you are curious. And if you explore, that's also mean that you want to discover a lot of things that stems out of your curiosity. And if it doesn't feel like an obligation and you enjoy doing it, then it's definitely going to be worth it. Liam, I thank you so much for agreeing to do this with me. I know you're very busy. You have an upcoming class with us, and I know you're doing a lot. You're very active on socials, which is Liamai Art, right? You can find you on Instagram at Liamai Art. Again, that's a very unique name. But thank you for being part of Make More Art and being part of the teachers pool of Etcher. It's going to be an exciting class, I'm sure. Again, it's monochromatic Florals,
Yes.
right? That's happening on June 17 at what time again in Eastern time? Is it 9?
Um, 10 a.m.
It's going
Yes.
to be at 10 a.m. Eastern time on June 17. And if you're listening to this episode, that means that it happened yesterday. So do check out the recording of Leah Mai's class. That's on at your website, and check out her Instagram as well. I'm sure you're gonna pick up a lot, and you will be inspired. Lima, thank you so much for being on the show. I had so much fun chatting with you. Thank you for giving me the time to interview you as well, and for me to get to know more about you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Take care and all glory to God. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Amen. Limai is such a beautiful soul. With her mission to create to inspire, there is no doubt that she will influence more people, young and old, to not only make art but to remain resilient even in the face of adversity. How has art influenced your view of life's uncertainties and circumstances? Do share with us your feedback through the blog post associated with this podcast at etrolab.com/limai.